Yo, guys, I hope you're well. So, what a week we've just had under our wise and intelligent and benevolent, forthright and honest and trustworthy and all knowing leader, Sir Keir Starmer. Sir Keir of the two-tier sovereign state we call the United Kingdom, the Sakir of the Starmer who genuflex at the drop of a hat or at the drop of a freebie or any other perk of the trade that happens to be going spare, and who doesn't take any lectures from any of us because he is all so all knowing and like the wisest of the owls. In the week, we creep closer to World War III and to Armageddon, and even more people lose their lives trying to enter our country on small boats. Our venerable and beloved leader, Sir Keir of the Sneer, doubles down on not having broken any rules or laws when it comes to getting his grubby little sausages, I mean fingers, on gift after gift and freebie after freebie. I was going to lead with the winter fuel allowance debate, or should I call that the winter fuel allowance debacle? But as I say, things move quickly in politics when we least expect them or even wish them to. And today is yet another example, as highlighted by the announcement earlier today that that Sue Gray has resigned her lofty position as Sir Keir Starmer's Chief of Staff, with the spin on her resignation playing out as Gray resigned because she feared her situation was becoming a distraction to our Lord and our Master, Mr. Starmer, who has never ever done anything wrong and never will. Gray had been bumping heads with Sir Keir's chief advisor, Morgan McSweeney, at number 10 in a very public power struggle since the Labour Party swept into Downing Street. Apparently, Sue Gray has pivoted and taken a new role as the Prime Minister's envoy for the regions and nations. Please do let me know what this job entails. Regions and nations? Anybody? Anybody? Anyone? You can't make it up, and you most definitely cannot ever, ever, ever get rid of any of these rats and vermin that get into Westminster. I'm sure more will come out on this story as the week progresses. I was going to mention something about the power struggle for the Tory party leadership between Cleverly, Badenoch, Tuganak and the other one, but I don't know, and I don't think if I can be bothered. Are you? Anyway, how about the winter fuel allowance then? And the whiff of Prime Minister's sausages or porkies around that? It appears that Starmer and the Labour Party have broken the rules by deliberately delaying the winter fuel allowance impact assessment from MPs, just like Starmer did the Forbes report. Official documents reveal that 70% of disabled pensioners stood to lose out on their winter fuel payments because of Chancellor Reeves' cuts to the allowance. And this information only came to light after Labour was forced to disclose this under the Freedom of Information laws. This may be a breach of Cabinet Office guidance and possibly the Ministerial Code, which, according to Gov UK, sets out the standards of conduct expected of ministers and how they discharge their duties. Apparently, Labour ministers acted in breach of long-standing constitutional conventions on ministerial accountability to Parliament by failing to publish this impact assessment ahead of Parliament's debate on the issue. This appalling and egregious decision left politicians in the dark about the extent to which pensioners would be worse off. The Minister for Pensions refused to publish the requested information prior to the vote in the House, and only published this damning document after Parliament had risen for recess. Members of Parliament were asked to vote on this motion for withdrawing the winter fuel allowance from pensioners on September the 10th without the report on the impact assessment, as the government had clearly and deliberately withheld information from the House it knew would impact millions of constituents. This beggars belief, and in my humble opinion is borderline wicked. The Labour government only released this information after they had won the vote in the Commons and Parliament had risen for the conference season, in full knowledge that they deliberately prevented MPs from questioning the government on how damaging the impact of cutting the winter fuel allowance payments would be on their constituents. Apparently, some of the findings of the assessment are that 1.6 million disabled people who currently receive the benefit, and that's about 71%, will lose out, alongside 2.7 million people aged 80 and above, and 7.3 million aged between 66 and 79 years of age. So guys, please remember when or if your MP is in surgery to contact them and to grill them on whether they voted for or against cutting the winter fuel allowance payments. And if they did vote to cut pensioner payments, please get them to explain to you why they did this, considering that MPs in the UK can claim for utility costs for properties registered with them, such as for the run-in costs, utility bills, etc. Apparently, there doesn't seem to be any upper limit for how much MPs can claim for covering heating costs either. Please remember this when your elderly relatives are shivering and freezing this winter and the El Gato Gordo energy companies have increased their tariffs for this winter. Your MP will still have his or her energy bills covered by us, the taxpayer, as they toast their hands and their toes and humongous behinds in front of their roaring fires. Please do not forget who voted to send the pensioners to heaven early, and please remember to let them know at the next and the next and the next ballot box. The only thing an MP cares about is themselves, unless there is an election upcoming and suddenly they actually remember that their constituents exist, and suddenly they start to call you and speak to you on a first name basis. Do not be fooled by them, because they take each and every single one of us for complete and utter fools. Guys, I hope you have a great rest of the weekend. Make certain you look after yourselves, you look after each other, and please let me know down here in the comment section what your thoughts are around Sue Gray and what's happened to her. She's pivoted. She's no longer the Chief of Staff, but she's got a new title, some sort of regions and whatever I've never heard of before. Really, whatever that's about, please let me know down here in the comment section. But also let me know about your opinions about how Labour tried to basically pull the wool over our eyes about the impact assessment for the winter fuel payments. That was outrageous, because this impact assessment should have been made available, and it was available, and it should have been made available to the MPs before they voted on such an important bill. So it's going to affect millions and millions and millions of pensioners. A lot of them will be very badly affected by this bill, and it should have been something that should have been debated in Parliament by the MPs, knowing all of the facts, all of the impact assessments, all of the numbers, the figures, etc., behind that, before they made a really informed opinion and decision. Who knows, it may have swayed a lot of the MPs to actually vote against the government. So the bill was raised to challenge the government defeated the bill, and this could have been an absolute game changer. So the impact assessment was there. Labour refused to release it to the MPs so they could all study it and review it before voting. So guys, that is really, really, in my opinion, that stinks. It really, really stinks in my opinion. And that's just my own humble opinion. What Labour should have done is given everyone all of the facts, the figures, and all the good, the bad, and the ugly, and let them come to a well informed decision. That to me stinks, and it stinks badly. So, anyway, let me know down here in the comment section what you think about that. What do you think about the pivot? That is it Sue Gray? Is that her name? I can't remember these people's names, people. Yeah, so Sue Gray, her pivot, she's moved from chief of staff to what is it? Got it down here somewhere. She's envoy for regions and nations. What on earth that means, I don't know. So if you know, let me know down here in the comment section. But guys, make sure you have a good weekend. Look after yourselves, look after each other, and please make sure and make certain you come back to the next Urban Bars reaction, guys.